Hi, my name is Rachel Garcia. I am a certified relationship coach specializing in integrated attachment theory, and I am the founder of Psychic Self Defense, which is a program I developed to help inoculate you against narcissists, creeps, predators, and dead end opportunities. If you are someone who has found yourself repeating dysfunctional cycles of relating in your life, then it's because there is something going on at the subconscious level of mind that is compelling you to keep investing in these types of dynamics, even when you are intent on avoiding them because you've had bad experiences in the past. It becomes so confusing to keep finding ourselves in these bad positions over and over again. And so that is exactly what I'm here to address with my program, Psychic Self Defense. My program focuses on a few specific components of your subconscious mind and specific areas of healing that will help you to excavate the specific patterns that are there that are causing you to invest in relationships repeatedly with unhealthy people, and also to kind of upgrade your programming so that you are more inclined to invest in healthy people, healthy relationships, in situations that are more aligned with your conscious mind's goals and desires. And so, what I'll say about what happens is that we all have a relationship to ourselves, and it might be kind of a strange or abstract concept to think of the relationship to yourself because it's so near to us, and it's also so, it's we are constantly with ourselves, and so we might not think of that as a relationship like a relationship we have with someone outside of us, but it's actually really not different from a relationship we have with someone outside of us. The only real and meaningful difference is that there is no one in your life who you hang out with, that you spend as much time with as you do with yourself. The relationship with yourself is your most important relationship because you are with you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, from the moment you take your first breath till your very last exhale. You are with you. And so the relationship to yourself influences and affects you and how you show up in the world and who you choose to invest in more than any other factor. So the features that we look at as avenues for healing are traits, needs, wounds, and boundaries. So the traits that we feel certain ways about because of the way that we got conditioned in childhood are the ones that kind of come into play when it comes to these types of unhealthy relationships. Basically, an example, like if you are kind of manipulative in the relationship to yourself, if you have learned that you need to kind of manipulate yourself in order to gain and maintain proximity to connection and to safety because you do not know how to give yourself those needs in any other way except for sourcing them outside of yourself, then you are going to manipulate yourself as a subconscious strategy to keep yourself close to those traits or those needs. And so this means that you might be more inclined to invest in a person, in a relationship where the person is manipulative, because that is your subconscious comfort zone. You're used to getting manipulated because you manipulate yourself. And so you invest in manipulative partners. Similarly, if you are conditioned with a very critical, cruel internal dialogue, if you have very, very, very high standards for yourself that you enforce with harshness in the relationship to yourself, then you are going to be more inclined to invest in a partner who is also harsh and critical and verbally abusive in their language. It's going to feel normal to you and you're going to tolerate it. Even if you don't like it, you're going to tolerate it and you're going to continue to invest in the relationship with this person because there's something about that experience that just feels like home. It just feels familiar and the subconscious mind craves its comfort zone. It's going to be more likely to invest in people who express traits that feel familiar than who feel different, even if what is different is actually objectively more healthy. And so a lot of this ties into our relationship with our subconscious needs. You may or may not realize that you have needs as a human being, depending on how affected you are by these types of dynamics. So we all have subconscious needs, emotional needs, and physical needs that are driving 100% of our behaviors. Everything you do, every decision you make, every thought that you have, everything that you're compelled toward, all of that is driven by your subconscious needs. It is your subconscious mind seeking its needs in the fastest way possible. And so, what becomes important is to identify what specific needs we are trying to source with the behaviors and actions that we take, with the decisions that we make, in terms of the relationships that we invest in. Like, what needs are we seeking specifically? Identifying those needs allows us to then pour into those needs in conscious ways so that those needs that feel so unmet and that cause us to source them in unhealthy ways start to feel more full. If we can pour into those buckets feel more full and they're not rattling around distracting us on empty, causing us to source them in whatever way we can. It allows us to make more conscious, intentional, and aligned choices about who to invest in because we're not starving for those needs. And so, a really, really powerful skill of needs literacy is what we will develop in this program. And then when it comes to the beliefs that we have about ourselves that cause us to source our needs in unhealthy ways, that's a really big area that needs to be addressed. So if I have a belief about myself that I am unworthy of love, or that I am fundamentally unlovable as a person, or that everybody else matters more than me, or that I have to earn my place in relationships because I'm not worthy as I am, because I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skilled enough, I'm not intelligent enough um, to to be able to hold my own. I have to make compromises around my values in order to source my needs. Like these are the types of beliefs that can really, really affect us and keep us in a vulnerable place where we're vulnerable to unhealthy partners, unhealthy people, unhealthy opportunities, unhealthy dynamics. So we can do reconditioning on these deeply held beliefs that we likely acquired in childhood and in the earliest part of our lives that we have been continuously playing out and reinvesting in all the way up to now. And we're suffering, unfortunately, the consequences of that by the way that we invest in unhealthy partners. And then finally, developing really healthy boundaries and the ability to communicate our boundaries in a way that will get us heard and respected is the last piece. So, yeah, a lot of work on boundaries, doing a boundary audit to find out what boundaries you need, and then doing really carefully constructed exposure work on those boundaries so that you can start to build out safety around keeping yourself safe. So you can feel like it is safe to be safe. It is safe to keep yourself safe by communicating your boundaries from a place of truth and an empowered sense of self rather than, like I ignore my boundaries long enough that I eventually get angry enough that I can assert my boundaries just fine, or that I just flee the scene, or whatever happens. Yeah. So Traits, needs, wounds, and boundaries are what we address in psychic